like this in students. And it's their position, it's their intent that they want to overreach in every way and force people to comply with their mandates, right? Unconstitutional mandates. Unconstitutional mandates to force you to stand in line to do what they want you to do. So think about this. We have a system of government, right, that's set up in three branches of government. Legislative, right, judicial, and executive, right? And each of those branches have a separate function. And we also have a system set up in our government for each branch to overlook the other branch, right? And what we have in this country right now is our executive branch has All right, we got to go. So here's what they're trying to do. The executive branch steps in and mandates to you and your children that they have to wear masks, right? And now mandates across the country that you have to take a vaccine, correct? Where's that authority come from? Can anyone tell me? Well, no, there's no authority for the government to do that at all.
Mandates, not law.
Zero. The branch of government that's actually in charge of this type of situation is the legislative branch. But they've given their power over to the executive branch, and it is an unconstitutional non-delegation of authority that we see right now. So Governor Whitmer says we are going to force every student to mask up, right? We're going to force everyone across the country, regardless of where you work, to take a vaccine, right? That doesn't come from the Constitution. They push that down then to non-elected bureaucrats within the county who come in and say, we're going to force all these kids to put on masks at school, right? So I say to you, where's that come from? It comes from nowhere. And that's why we need strong people elected into government. We need people who are going to stand up and are ready to fight against this tyranny. Because I say no longer will we allow these elected bureaucrats in Lansing to dictate our lives. Right? So, and that's why I say these people have declared war on you. They've declared war on your kids. So how proud can we be of the students of this school who took a stand, right? This is happening now across the entire state of Michigan. Everywhere we go, we see this exact same thing. Where I'm from in Kalamazoo, every school district has mandated K through 12 to wear masks. And if you don't do it, they will either remove you from school, they will not allow you to participate in events, they will segregate you, and they will tell you that you have to comply with what they want, right? Now think about this. Over 5,600 people died in nursing homes because of what Governor Whitmer did.
Right here! That's right! My mom died!
General Dana Nessel has done nothing about it.
That's right!
Complicit in this type of action. And that's why I say when I'm elected to Attorney General, I will investigate them and prosecute every one of them.
Yay! Save our seniors!
This unconstitutional action by them to take over our schools starts, in my opinion, with school boards. And for too long we sat on the sidelines while the Democrats employed a strategy to take over our school boards. And they've got people elected into our school boards who are Marxists. And what they've done then is promote critical race theory across these schools, where they've taught our children to hate us, right? They've taught them that our country is not a good place to live. And we're going to end that. So I challenge every one of you. You're out here in the rain today, so you must care, right?
Yes, we do!
You say you need to take back your school board, and you need to run for school school board. For too long, the Democrats have told us and told everyone in the country that we must focus our attention on the President of the United States and the Supreme Court. They've told us that that's how government runs, from the top to the bottom, right? And I'm here to tell you it's just the opposite. Government runs from the bottom up, from local school boards, county commissioners, mayors. That's how you got to get involved, and that's how you got to take back your country. Because we've sat on the sidelines for too long, and we're ready to take it back. Am I right?
Yes, we are!
And so I put that challenge out to you, and I've been doing this. God, it's been a year and a half.
Too long!
Summer of 2020, when Gretchen Whitmer said only essential people can go to work, I went out to Lansing and I protested.
Good.
People, right?
Good.
With other people, other concerned citizens.
Yes.
With Ryan Kelly and people like that. People who cared about our country.
Yes.
Willing to stand up and fight. And we said, you know what? If you're putting food on your table for your children, then you are essential.
Yes.
And that's the message we carried for a year and a half across the state, protesting these unconstitutional mandates from Governor Whitmer and enforced by Dana Nessel. And it is going to stop. We are going to end this when we get elected. Because what's happening in Lansing today sickens me, all right? Mask mandates, vax mandates, critical race theory, right? We are going to end it all when we get elected, and we are going to prosecute the people who are responsible for it. So I've been saying this, listen, for a year and a half now, and I've had several people come up to me and they've shown me their affidavit of candidacy. They said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to run for school board. I'm going to take back our school boards. We have to do that. That is really the message, because we're standing out here in front of a school, and if you guys had a school board that was responsible and understood the Constitution and upheld the Constitution, you wouldn't be in this situation right now, am I right?
Right.
Because they would say, no, we're not going to let the government force kids to have to wear masks, force people across the country to take an unconstitutional vaccine, right?
Right.
But we've had some good decisions come out lately from several different courts. The Fifth Circuit and the Sixth Circuit, just recently, this last week, have come out and declared, at least put an injunction on these national mask mandates put forth by Joe Biden, right? And that is, we think that's going to continue because they are entirely unconstitutional, and I will tell you, you don't get an injunction in court unless the court decides that you are likely to win. And that's what the courts are saying, that OSHA and the rest will not prevail in these cases because they have no constitutional authority to declare that people in the workplace are required to take a vaccine. All right? So we are going to defeat this in the end because they're not allowed to do this. They cannot force you in any context to put something in your body, right? Now another thing we're dealing with, Michigan State University, all right? We just got some students out there at Michigan State University approved for a religious exemption. And that's important. You've got to fight for your rights. So many people come out and say, what can we do? We want to fight this, but they haven't actually submitted their request for an exemption. They have to do it. If you go to my Twitter feed or my Telegram feed, you can find that letter, that appeal that we submitted that was approved by Michigan State University. Use it. I encourage you to. Use it. You know, spread the word. Make sure these students at these universities apply for their exemptions. If they don't want to do a religious exemption, apply for a medical exemption. But they can't do anything if they don't actually apply. So
shut you off!
there you go. Yeah, so, that, you know, this always happens to me. The mic goes out right when I'm you know, that's think there's probably several FBI agents out there in the audience right now, following us around, making sure we're not saying crazy stuff. You know, it's interesting because when you go out and you go to events like this, remember Merrick Garland said that if you go to a school board meeting and vocally protest,
Check one.
all right, there's a secret to this microphone. So you know, we got to think about this. You know, when you go out, this is a First Amendment constitutional issue too. Coming out to places like this, talking to people, right? Meeting. The government for so long has said, for the last year and a half, has said, you're not allowed to do this anymore, right? You can't come out. You can't exercise your right to talk to people, and we're fighting back against that. You know, a year and a half ago, we had to do this in basements, right? Because the government was saying, we might arrest you if we're doing that. And Merrick Garland's still saying that. We are going to defeat these unconstitutional acts, and that's why we're running. That's why I'm running for Attorney General, okay? We are going to stop. Again, we are going to stop this. We are going to return the state to a constitutional republic, okay?
Good.
A couple of weeks ago, I gave a speech in Lansing, and people started chanting while I was out there talking. They were like, lock her up, lock her up. Yeah, I didn't actually say anyone's name, so that was just sort of a thing that people did in the audience, right? But Dana Nessel then went on Rachel Maddow's show 3 nights in a row and said she was terrified of that speech. She feared for her life.
She should be.
Because of the things that I said on stage. And what did I say? I said, we're going to return the state to a constitutional republic. And that is terrifying to these Marxists out there. Okay? And that is why we're fighting. We're fighting to stop that, put an end to it. The movement that we have created is about the people. It is about returning rights to the people, to everyone out there.
Yes! Of the people, by the people, for the people.
Speech in January of 2017. He stood there on the steps in Washington and he said, today is not about Republicans or Democrats. Today, I return power back to the people. And that's what we're doing, and that's what this is about. So, how many of you are delegates? Oh, good. People, you have to run for delegates. You
Yes.
have to become delegates.
Yes.
Does everyone know what a delegate is?
Yes.
Okay. A delegate is really the lowest elected form of government in this state. Everywhere across this state, every neighborhood has what's called a precinct delegate. And many of those seats are open because
Yes.
people don't know what they are.
Yes.
Don't run for them. You have to get out there and get involved, become a delegate, have a voice in your county politics.
Yes.
Then you can go to your county convention and help dictate policy within your county. And for too long, they haven't promoted this. The counties don't promote it because they don't want you to run for delegate. They don't want you to be in that position. They want people to be ignorant across the state and in your county. And you have to get involved. That's how we fight back. I cannot stress it to you enough to do that. So, another issue, we're also getting ready to file a couple lawsuits in Kalamazoo County to stop these mandates. You know, good kids out there who are getting dragged out of schools because they go to school and say, I don't want to wear a mask, right? They're being told you can't go to school events. You have to now go to do learning online, right? And you can no longer operate or be part of the school. And we're going to stop that because these actions by these non-elected officials who are heading up these health boards and counties are doing it without the consent of the people. So all that is going to end, I think, across the state. So people like PJ here at Michigan State are doing great work out there. Really, really, truly coming together with other people to teach people how to stand up for their rights. So I can't say enough of good things about PJ and his group, who are really helping to fight for people. So please, if you would, also go to my website, DePerno4MI.com, sign up there, sign up as a volunteer. We're going to need your help in the end. So I appreciate everything that you guys are doing. Thanks for having me out, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Matt, again. That was awesome. And we need to know the law of this. We need to hear the law of what's actually happening. A lot of us don't study law. We don't even know. And they're not teaching the Constitution in these schools anymore. And they're not teaching our kids to use critical thinking. I'm really excited about this young man and his team coming up here, but I want Maxwell Woods to come up here.